Happy days. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, we are live. We shall find out shortly, I presume. Hey, hello. Ben lad. Morning. Gimbal. Well, morning. Just switched. Yeah, alright. Morning. 11:59. I'll give you that. Looking good on lockdown. I disagree. I'm wearing my hat indoors with no need. Quite simply because I avoided a haircut for 2 weeks and now they've shut all the barbers for the next 3 weeks. So that's going to be interesting. Okay, judging by the comments, we've got about 30 seconds of lag. That is happy days for me. What are you up to, Ben? So let's have a noodle about in Logic for a bit. So I'm going to switch the BPM 174, pretty standard for me, I reckon. And let's try and find some drums. Let's maybe just use Logic's own samples. Let's see what we got. What the hell? Alright, let's go genre. Let's see what we got in urban. I like that snare. Let's grab that. Or maybe nick the snare out of that. It's got some nice top sounds in it. I'm just going to grab together a bunch of samples and try and build a break just to start us off, I think. After something with a solid kick. That might work. Let's just cut these three up for a minute and see what we've got in them. Definite Logic. Alright, so we like that snare, so that drops right in there. That's all I wanted from that, I think. Don't want that. That's got a symbol behind it though, isn't it? Let's see if we make it nice and tight, will it still let us put a fade on at the end? Yeah, we can work with that. So we're going to go D and B, so let's stick it on every other. Let's maybe have the second one drop just a little bit, so like minus 1.5 on gain. Just ever such slight differences. Bit weak, we're going to have to fatten it up as we go along, but hey, we're working with our stock sample, so. Alright, what do we have on here? I really like that sound just on the left. I might grab that. That must have been all that caught my ear. So it's going to be around about here. Cool, and we just want the left side. So if we go over to the channel and switch over and take just the left like this. Cool. A little bit of a pop going on, so we just give it a fade in and fade out. And bring that right to the start of the beat, I reckon. Probably have it hit every second bar. Okay, let's see if we can actually get an acceptable kick out of this. Definitely not with that little chop at the end, so we'll just take that back, give it a little fade. A little bit gnarly. There we go. It's just using the fades there to take some of the pops and bits out of the background. If we bring this forward, give it a bit of syncopation on the beat, we should have something kind of going. Cool. The most generic D&B beat you can do. But we're off to the races. What we could do is make use of Logic's drummer and probably get some tops going. So let's give that a go, see what happens with it. Hopefully it's going to work for us. If anyone's watching's got any questions, do throw it in the comments. I think I've got it so I can see all of them. I certainly have now. And I'll try and answer them for you as we go through. So, I'm going to do a new track. New track's dead simple. It's up here up in the top left. And there's a shortcut for it, which I think's Command. What are we? Yeah, it's Option Command N. I just always go click up there and then grab what I'm after. So drummer, we are going to put it on alternative. That should give us the Soul Cow drum kit, which has got some nice hi-hats and other bits on it. I'm going to drop it to the bottom. I'm just going to hit T and then I to cut this down, double tap T and then get rid of this on the end. And then we're going to use the drummer settings at the bottom to take away the kick drum, take away the snare and just have the hi-hats on. I'm going to take the fills all the way back. We just want to hear what it gives us. Not giving us massive changes or anything particularly fun. Here where it says hi-hat, we can change the different rhythm types. That's probably a bit more useful. Stick that right up as the loudest. Let's go loud and simple though. No, okay, prefer complex. Let's stick the shaker in with it as well. Cool, so I'm going to move that one up to here. Take this one and copy it back just by holding Option. I'll take the shaker off the first one. Copy our little loop that we cut from the samples in Logic over. And now we'll just have an 8-bar loop, one without a shaker, one with, just so it adds a little bit of flair as it builds up. Yeah, that's working for me. Kick drum's not great. I think for the most part we've got what we're after. What I'm going to do is do the classic trick of sticking a break on the background of these drums. So we've got our own drums that we've cut out of something else, added a little hi-hat rhythm to. But if we use a drum break, it usually gives like that nice live feel to it if Logic doesn't play it up, because I'm on a live stream and it hates it. Hence the freezes. But if we go into this drive, we should have some breaks in here. Let's see what we can find. I'm reckoning. See, in the medics, there's usually some good big sounds in there. Let's take what we've got in here. So it's got that nice little roll at the end as well. We're going to take that out, so we just loop these first two. We're going to leave it on the last one here and mute our sounds, or maybe double up the snare just to make it our own. Get rid of that kick drum. Don't delete it, just going to mute it like that. No worries, man. What have you been doing during it? I get it's boring for a lot of people. It's just throwing everyone sort of out of their normal loops on it. I am just gonna bash a limiter on this for you guys in case I go crazy on anything. Let's do that. Save all of your ears on it. There we go. Okay, that's got a not too bad a feel to it. The hats, it's got loads going on. I'm just going to move that EQ down to the bottom, just restack everything here in the mixer. And I'm going to take out the low end. It feels like there's low end in the hats for some reason. There's a mid, don't I? Take it out. And the other thing I'm going to do, the compressor that's already on it, I have a bunch of presets made up, so I'm just going to hit manual. I'm going to take my FET D&B side, switch it to the FET compressor, and there's some settings I use for side chaining, and we're going to send, what was our kick drum? That hip hop old school beat, send that to it. That should just dip the hi-hats when the kick's hit. Like that. Happy days. Realizing my face might be in front of the mixer, so hopefully that'll just switch over to Logic just for a few minutes for you. Yeah, it's 100% a strange kind of vibe right now. I get the procrastination thing as well. There's endless amounts to kind of do around the house, but it's not the time to do it. It's weird, isn't it? It's just we've all kind of been thrown into limbo. You don't really know how to behave with it. It's a very weird one. I've not really been feeling music making either, which is why I thought I'd throw myself into a live stream, force myself to do a little something at least. I've just been taking on loads of work because there's pretty much uncertainty about who, what, where, why, and when. So one way I do here, the break that's underneath is pretty dominating in places. Just have a quick listen to it and sweep through and just try and filter out some other bits. Yeah, that says all that low end there we definitely don't need. So we'll just double tap that and drop it back. Maybe not take the whole kick out, we'll see how it feels. That's quite nice taking it out. Now all the snare zone feels alright, but it's getting a bit muddy, so let's try and find the muddy space. Like that guy right there. And that guy right there. Around here feels a bit much as well. Too harsh. Just gonna give it a little dip like that. Let's just A/B that super quick. That just clears that up a little bit. yeah, not too bad. We've got a bit of a break going. What we'll do now, we're going to grab everything we've got thus far, and I like to bus everything up nice and early. I did not mean to send them all to the reverb bus though. That's not going to sound great. Let's do that and give them their own bus, and we're going to call you drums. Beautiful. We've now got a nice drum bus, and I'm not going to glue them together or anything yet because we're just working on the idea, but that's definitely the reason I do that, so later on I can work on those and stick them all together, as it were. That little roll at the end, I like it. I think we might try and just put some other little bongo sounds or something in. I mean, I'm just going to be lazy and just use straight up one hits. Let's have a look. What do we got? Drum hits, toms, that's going to work. This is going to be probably the laziest roll ever put together. Screw it, if it works, it works. Cool, so let's get those nice and tight in that last section. Something like that maybe. And I'm going to shorten them off a little bit so they don't roll too much into the next break. We'll bring them, the furthest they go is there. And we'll make sure they're all faded off so they don't suddenly pop as well. Cool. And now, I'm going to copy the whole lot again. So we should be at sort of a 16 now, which is happy days. And that should roll over quite nicely, and we'll build sort of in 16 bar loops. Yeah, super lazy, but it works. I feel there could be like a little maybe tabla or something in there. Let's see what we can use to add it. Do you know what? Let's use Logic's its own percussion instruments. Let's use those. Trying to keep it in Logic as much as possible. So I think I might just pop this whole thing up for download at the end. So we got okay, so I want that to be a hell of a lot faster though. The kind of thing we're after. So we need to take it out from there. Same with you. Thanks, dude. I think this one here, this needs to have the shaker carry on as well. I'm going to go straight back into that and keep that percussion moving. Switch the keyboard on. Yeah, that works for the most part. We need a little bit of cleaning up, so I'm hearing some things just clashing with each other. So let's have a quick listen through. So snare seems pretty clean. But it's not. Look at that. It's got loads of low end on it. That's kind of funny, right? I could hear something not working with a kick, and there it is on the snare of all things, which didn't sound like it had anything going on. What we can do here, we'll roll that off. That's probably going to be a nice bit of fundamental of the snare at 200. So we'll use the roll off just to give us a little bit of a boost there. Should hope it really pop through. Let's see if that fixed the problem. Oh, happy days. Much better, much more of a break. Yeah. What we need to do here, these need to go down a little bit in volume on the roll, so we're dropping by about -3. I think I'm going to pitch the second one down just 1 or 2 semitones. Should just give a bit more of a feel on that roll. Really subtle, but it just helps it sit with those toms a little bit better. Let's get that loop rolling again. Not too bad. So Gimbal, what have you been up to? If I remember rightly, it would have been ages ago, you were doing like some audio restoration or something like that. Yeah, that's not sitting too badly. So switch the keyboard on. Let's see if we can add a little something. Anyone who's regular here should know that despite my disdain for native instruments, Complete Control is just about the best thing out there. So I still use that a lot. So we're going to load that up, and I think we're going to try and build like some kind of pad or chord structure, and this can be an intro. So we can have like a nice pad, like maybe arpeggiating, building up. We'll fade these drums in, go down to a nice breakdown, and then see how we can build it up into a bit of a liquid tune. Might do this over a couple of days or so. Really spend about an hour and a half now while the little one's having a nap. And we'll keep working on it day after day, I reckon. I mean, what else we're going to do? Most of us are on complete lockdown. Most of us. All very bad for anyone who's currently working in a supermarket or a delivery driver or the NHS workers, bless them. It's a gnarly situation. Fair enough, dude. It's good that it's still coming to you, even if it isn't spurts though. It's always good to have a bit of work rolling around. Alright, let's see. What do we fancy? Let's have a butcher's through, shall we? No, I'm not feeling going super deep on the damage side of things. Polyplex? Yeah, maybe. Never fully got my head around Polyplex. It always sounds good, but I just don't get it as a synth. Or a drum sequencer even. Whatever the hell it is they want to call it now. Doesn't look like it fancies opening anyway. That's nice. That's a very D&B vibing pad. It feels a bit cheaty just tapping one note and getting everything I need. But maybe we'll do that, record it in, and then have a little play around with it. I know what you meant, buddy. I knew. Okay, for some reason there's a note missing there. Did I just press it that lightly? Or was it that one? Yeah, it is just super not pressed. If I hit T and V, I can just up the velocity super easy that way. Double tap T, back to where we were. Alright, so there's loads going on with that. That was disgustingly easy to do from finding one patch. I feel a little bit like I've cheated. But leap you out to 32. The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to bring the drum bus in like this. So Command and T, stick it below the drums. Below the drums, thank you. And I'm going to do a bit of a fade on it and just fade it in with that pad. I think that works quite nicely. Something I do that will get me some stick is I just use the EQ as a filter, but do you know what, it works. I'm going to always put the low cut on. I just cut it at 20, it just works for me on drums. I'm going to use the high frequency there to do the fade. And the way I'm going to do it is dead simple. Hit A, get my volume automation up. Going to switch the volume automation to the EQ, high cut frequency, and I want it to come fully in by the 16 bars, and we're going to have it gradually fade in. So if we start, so we can like just hear the kick drums at the 100 Hertz range, I'm going to hit T and W, and that's going to give me the curve tool. I'm going to gradually curve it in like so, and we're going to see if that worked or if it sounds awful and doesn't work at all. Who knows? So we definitely need that roll to get muted at the start. Probably that one too. There you go, breaks starting to come in. Okay, I'm liking that, but I want to take it a hell of a lot further. Now, one of the wicked things about using complete control rather is obviously I can just load it up in here, it's ready to go on the keyboard, but at this point as well I can add pretty much anything else I want to it, link it to keyboard commands or the controller and manipulate it as much as I like. I can also drop plugins straight in here, which I do massively like, and I'm thinking molecular maybe, although it's going to be massively CPU hogging for what this is. What we got? What's it? Cute flare. Yeah, give Freak a go. See what Freak's going to do to us. That really gently. Not that much side to side. Yeah, that gives us some uniqueness to it. Okay, I want to warm it up a little bit as well. Let's go fab filter, let's stick Saturn in there. If this doesn't crash, it will be amazing for the entire stream, but I can't imagine that happening. So, probably going to have to stick an EQ after this as well and take some low end out. Let's split here, have some fun with that section, and we'll split here, have some fun with that. So we're going to flatten this bit out on dynamics a lot, and we are going to drive it in the clean tube. Not that much though. And this section that jumps up here, I'm going to boost that high end. And let's try it in the amp. Bit much, bit gnarly, dial that back a bit. Alright, and let's give it an LFO source. Just kind of pulse it up and down a little bit. We could try feeding it back. Alright, not that much. Calm down. Okay, going to warm the mids up just with a bit of extra drive, and the low end we're going to flatten our dynamics. I'll probably just cut it away. Let's see. So, little thing, the brakes coming in just ever so slightly too early. I want it to start being audible from here, but it's coming in a little bit sooner, so we're going to dial that back and then just give that a slightly different slope. Super finicky little thing to worry about, but so let's do that there, give that the littlest curve, and then right at the end I want the jump to be a little bit more extreme. Alright, that works. So from bar 16, let's see if we can start working a melody, and I'm feeling some kind of arpeggio. I'm just going to hit Command D and copy my Polydor, or whatever the hell. You've thrown me off with Polydor now. I've forgotten what the plugin's called. Just copy that straight over, and then it makes a new channel for me. Because it's linked to my complete control, I can literally just tap one button and then select the next thing that I'm after, rather than making a new channel, adding the plugin and redoing the whole chain. I can literally copy it, hit browse, and once we're up and I'm ready to go, I can find the next thing that I'm after, yeah, which is super easy to do. Let's go all instruments, and now I can go and find whatever it is I want. Actually, we could try that Analog Dreams thing with a bit of an ADSR on it. That could work. Third patch in. I'll try and tweak this one a little bit more than the last, but when it works, it works. Fab. I actually have no idea how many people are watching right now. I've just put the chat on one side. And Gimbal, massive respect for being the only person chatting since Ben when I first started out, who seems to have abandoned me. That's what poor friends do. So let's check this out. Now scale wise, I don't really know what we could do. Also not feeling that sound as much now. Maybe lower down. We don't want you. I'm not going to do fab filter. Scale wise, I don't know. F major maybe? G. Let's try and find something. Oh, we seem to have locked up. Lovely. Did say if it doesn't crash, it'll be amazing. But the idea of pressing play just there has thrown it into a loop. And of course, because it's a live stream, I haven't saved this. Standard. Good old logic. Come on, either come back to life or die, one or the other. Sorry if you just got like an ASMR of me drinking there. Should have muted the mic. Right, there she goes. Well, I'm going to try and reopen it. If it's saved, awesome. If not, we'll scrap it right there. Well, nature of it. Sometimes I can go hours on end without a crash. And other times it will do things like that when live streaming. It just seems to be the nature of the beast sometimes. Oh, this looks promising. Or maybe not. A side note. How cute is my dog sleeping in the background? Well, at the minute it says channel EQs loading, but it doesn't look like it's coming back with that project. If it does, we'll keep working for another 20 minutes to an hour. Come on, complete control, you're now loading, apparently. Dude, it's not that infuriating, it's just what happens, it's the nature of it. Logic every now and then just has that game. Oh, are we back? Hey, look at that, we're back. So, since we've come back from saving grace, I'll try and save it. Jesus wept. That will do. Let's see, can we play? That's a big question. We can play and there's audio, and what were we doing? Something like that. Oh, don't freeze again. I think I got some weird lag between me playing and the audio back, but whatever, we're going to roll with that. Don't like that patch, let's change that. Let's find something that's like a lead. Oh really? Really low quality now. That's fun, isn't it? Give it a resize and snap, see if that fixes it. Ah, she's gone again. Boom. Do you know what? That, guys, is game over. Thanks for tuning in though. I'm not going to wait for it to load up again. All the best, and let's come back tomorrow and try and finish it. See you then.